Hi, this is Miss Andrea. I'm here in Invention Convention, and I'm going to bring you a project today, Stomp Rockets. And this is courtesy of the David and Jean Wiley Foundation. I'm over here by our launch cage. We have a fancy launch cage. You can come make a rocket and shoot it up in the air. But you can also make your own at home, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. All right, so in order to make our super duper rockets, you're going to need some materials. You're going to need a paper to make the rocket body from, and I have a construction paper, but really any paper will work. You're going to need some scissors, some tape, masking tape. You can use other tape if you like. And the easiest thing to make the fins is an index card. But if you don't have an index card, really anything that's kind of, even like a folder will work, anything that's kind of stiff. And you're going to need paper for the cone. You can use construction paper for the cone. I prefer these big sheets of paper. This is actually like a book cover, and then I'll show you why in a minute. And that's what you'll need to make your rocket. In order to make your rocket launcher, because you have to make your own rocket launcher, you're going to need a 2-liter bottle, preferably a PVC pipe. It doesn't have to be this size. It could be a smaller. And I used old bicycle tubing. You can use any kind of tubing that you'd like, as long as what's important here is that when you connect these, that you make them airtight. What's important is that the air all gets concentrated on the tip of the rocket so that you have as much power as possible. If there's openings, the air will escape out of those openings. So that is what we need to get started. Let's start with our launcher. So my launcher, the bicycle tubing is already attached to it. I didn't want to take it off. But I'll show you how to attach the PVC pipe. So all you're going to do is you're going to take the PVC pipe and you're going to take the duct tape and just put it a little bit inside of it, and you're going to wrap the duct tape around it. So I'm not doing that because I'm going to show you how to make the rocket on with the PVC pipe. So when you make your rocket, you need to use the PVC pipe, and the reason is the rocket needs to fit on there very well. It cannot be loose, and it can't be where it's getting stuck, because once the air hits this tip, you want it to fly off. And if it's open here at the bottom, some of the air will escape down. Some of your fuel that you need in order to make it go up is going to come out the bottom. So you want to make sure to make this as airtight as possible, but you also don't want it to get stuck, because friction will also slow you down. So how do you do this? Sometimes it's hard for people to do this by themselves. So you might get somebody to help you if you can. And then I always put my pieces of tape on the side here. And the reason that I do that is because it's hard to hold something and also try and tape it and get tape at the same time. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to take your paper, whatever paper you decide to use, and you're going to roll it on to the PVC pipe. Now, if it's loose, give it a little tug. Make sure that it's nice and tight on there. And you're just going to roll it up like a big burrito. And then you're going to put a piece of tape. Now I would do some that go across this way first, just to keep it in place. But you really want to seal the whole thing. So once you put 3 of them in here, or 2, you can get a longer piece and tape it on. Because again, you don't want your air to escape. So when you're making the body, it could be long, it could be short. This is one of the things I really like about this project, because you can change things. The type of paper that you use, do you make it long, do you make it short, all of those things. Now, see how easily this comes on and off? That's what you want. You don't want it to be loose. So the trick to this is to push it down, push the PVC pipe down a little bit, and the trick is to close it up. So you're going to take your thumb and you're going to close all the way around, and then you're going to put tape. Why? Because that's where the air goes. And you don't want the air to escape. So you want it all to hit on that very edge. And so I'm going to close it up and make sure that no air can get through. And this is what I've got right now. So now it's time to do the cone. And when you think about the cone, the purpose of the cone, water and air are both fluids, and if you think about when you put your hand in water and you put your hand flat like this and you try to go against the water, you meet a lot of resistance, don't you? If you do this, you don't have as much surface area, and so it's much easier to go through the water. Well, it's the same thing with air. When you do your cone, you don't want a flattened out cone, and the reason is because you want it sliced through the air. So that's why I like these nice big sheets. And what I do is turn them upside down. The trick here really is about pulling. So this hand is pulling and this hand is pulling on this side. And this is where you get a really nice sharp cone. You got a hole there on the top, just keep turning it. Turning it until you have a nice, look how nice that is. That's gonna cut right through the air. So take a piece of tape, tape it up, and you might be looking at that going, oh, Andrea, that is a long, long cone. We're not gonna use the whole cone. So what we're gonna do is, in order to find out where this is, I'm sticking my pipe in here so I can feel where it is. And I know that I need to cut below that, at least an inch or two. And so I can feel where the pipe is. This is the top of the pipe, and I'm going down about 2 inches. And I'm gonna take my scissors, because I don't wanna flatten this out. You don't wanna flatten out your cone. So you're gonna take your scissors, you're gonna cut all the way to the area where you felt like it was. And you can always cut it if it's too long, but you can't fix it if it's too short. So always make it longer rather than shorter. Okay, this is basically recycle. Now, when I put my cone in there, I'm gonna go ahead and put my pipe in just so that it's strong. This is gonna make a difference. If you put it crookedy, your flight is gonna be crookedy. So you wanna make it straight. Now, how do you tape it on without having a problem? I'm gonna show you. What's gonna make it easiest is if you cut a bunch of little fringes on here. That way, when you tape it, it's not going one way or the other. So you're gonna cut all of those, and then you're gonna tape it on. Now make sure that it's straight, okay? And then you're gonna take your tape and you're gonna tape it on there. So let's take a big piece of tape. Make sure that it's straight. And these are easy supplies, so once you try it and you see what it does, it's easy to make another one. If your cone gets messed up, make another one. This is where you have really good ability to try different things. So now we have our cone. We're going to look at the fins. I'm going to tell you the easiest way to do the fins is to take an index card, and if you fold it corner to corner, hamburger style, like that, then you'll get 2 separate pieces, and you can cut that. Oh, okay. And then what you're going to do from there is you're going to cut corner to corner diagonally. Okay, so you have 4 fins. What is the purpose of the fins? If you have ever thrown a football, you know that when you throw a football, you can't just throw it. You got to put a spin on it. Things that are spinning are more accurate. Kind of like an arrow. When you think about an arrow, you know, they do slow-mo when they show it on movies and stuff, and you see that arrow spinning. Well, it's got those fins on the back. And so the fins are going to help stabilize it, and it's going to help, the air will push it so that it will spin, and that will give you more accuracy. And you want that because if your rocket is going like this, it's using a lot of energy, not going in the direction that you want. So I'm going to show you the easy way to attach these. When you have these fins, you can fold them a little bit. See that? This is what you're going to use. Do them at the same time so that you're doing the same size, and that they're, because you're going to put them opposite. So you're going to take your tape and you're going to cut a piece that is going to connect that to your rocket. So what I always do is I put my tape on the fin, the little tab that I made, because basically what you did was make a tab. That's going to make it easier to put on your rocket. Then once you do that, you have this other side. Now you don't want to go flappy because you want the air to hit it and to turn it. So you need to put tape on the other side. Otherwise you'll have flappy, and that's just not good. So there we go. It's a nice strong fin. And you're going to do the same thing to the other side. So another piece of tape. And we're cooking. Try to eyeball it from up here to make sure that it is straight as the other side. You want them to be opposite. And then put your other piece of tape So we're going to do this fairly quickly, the last two, and then we're going to be ready to launch as soon as I put my tape on my launcher. So remember, if you did on one side, make sure you do it on the other side. So what we're going to use for our fuel today is compressed air. We're not using fire or nothing like that today. We're using compressed air because when you look at a bottle, it's not empty, right? It's full of air. And what happens when you squish it, when you stomp on it, all those air molecules get pushed together and they want to get out. They want to leave, and they're going to leave right up here. And that is going to launch our rocket up. If you do it really well, it can go really far. You want to make sure not to point it to anything, or do not point it toward a road, because it might land in the road and cause a problem. So be careful where you're launching it. Now, you also, with your launcher, you can make it go far or you can make it go high. And I'll show you the different ways that you can do that. So here's my other fin. Now the fins are up to you. Do you use 2 fins? Do you use 3 fins? Do you use 4 fins? Do you use more? What difference does it make? Big fins, little fins? So it does make a difference. I would find out what you like and what you're comfortable with, or try them out and see which one works best. Again, try to put it on the opposite side. And we're almost done. Don't tape it to your tube. It has to be able to come off of your tube. So make sure you're putting on the other side. I think I put that too far down. Okay, and we're done. That is your rocket design. Actually, this is my rocket design. You should make your own rocket design. Figure out what you want and how you want it to work. So, and remember I told you that we need to attach this. You're going to take your tube, your bicycle tubing, if you're using that, and put it on your PVC pipe. And then you're going to make sure that this is airtight, that no air can escape there. And basically you've made your launcher. This is our fuel, which is compressed air. We're going to put our rocket on it, and then we're going to give it a stomp. Let's go check it out. Okay, so we're ready to launch. We're on our launch pad. If you want your rocket to go up really high, you want it to go straight up and down. If you want it to go far, then you're going to put it at an angle, preferably like at a 45-degree angle. So we're ready? 3, 2, 1. So there's my rocket. It hit something solid and got crumbled. But it's a good thing I can make another one. And now that I've seen how it flew, maybe I can improve on my design. This is something that you can do. Look at your materials, weight, all kinds of stuff that you can change on this. So many variables. I just wanted to show you real quick too, how you reload your launcher. You gotta refuel it. The fuel comes from your lungs. Try not to put your mouth on the pipe. And voila, you're ready to go again. So I hope you enjoyed that. I love Stomp rockets. I love them. I love the way that they fly through the air, that they're made out of such simple materials. So I hope that you try it. I hope you enjoy it. I will see you later. This is Miss Andrea saying goodbye.